We're the boost mobile casting desk with Moses, and we're about to head into the game. The last one of the day, Moses. You ready for it? North and Astralis.
I am ready for it. I always love this matchup. I always love casting with you because it gets to put you in the hot seat and tell us all which one of these two Danish teams is your favorite.
It's very tricky, isn't it? Because I lose either way. Like, there's no winning from this point out. I'm bound to disappoint someone. So listen, Moses, I'm just a fan of good Counter-Strike.
I want to hear you say the words. Who you got winning it?
I have to put my money on Astralis for this one. I'm so sorry, no, please forgive me. Listen, it's like 2 in the morning in Denmark, right? I didn't know.
Hit me up, North Organization. I'll help you out in the future for a nominal fee. Wow. We're getting started in the opening pistol round. Astralis on the CT side. They tend a lot of talk about the AWP on this map between dupreeh and Device. I think Zipnix is a player always fun to point out because of the way he plays that inner bomb site. He's actually going to get aggressive towards upper ramp. Wants to go for the spot. Sees 2. He's got to get away. Good call. He just bails out. Doesn't stick around too long. So he's got some information. He saw at least 2.
I was about to get just a little bit uncomfortable there. He could have easily been run down, but he does make his escape. There is 2 Molotovs and, 2 smokes and a Molotov, and there's no smoke on the other team. That's always worth noticing on a map like Inferno. That one goes deep all the way towards Ivy, but it's all a distraction. Cajun is running out, trying to make himself look a lot bigger, just having a big presence here while the rest are running down the sidewalk in the B-bomb side, and that's where the action is going to be. Cajun, he's just a distraction right now, trying to see if he can make it done. The bomb's going to go down. No one from Astralis has even figured this out. What a great start from North. This is tactical brilliance. They've completely outplayed Astralis at this point in the game. How do you get back into it now? He is a bit confused, and he's going to go down, but there is a huge flank coming in from Config, and if anyone can do it, it probably is him. Now dupreeh's up on the high ground. They're gunning for this retake, but they forgot about Config, and he's sneaking up right behind, and dupreeh can get the headshot. There's actually one guy defusing the bomb. Hit right now. MSL picks up 2 dupreeh with a kill, and now it's just Cajun left. Nobody on the bomb, and oh no, dupreeh falls to his death. How has that happened?
Run.
Oh, they're gonna have to run. That was it. He gave it his all, Moses. He broke his legs and died. I can't believe it. What a way to begin.
Oh, they did just enough for the bomb timer to go off. That flank from Config distracting him just long enough, and he had dupreeh here.
Moment of silence. This is the ultimate sacrifice.
It really is. He knew he just had to get on the bomb if possible. That is tactical brilliance. I'm glad you used that way, because that fake towards the outer bomb site, it just pulled that second player towards the inner site back out towards A, and Cajun B was enough of a presence to even pull Zipnix. And all they did was throw a Molotov into that choke point, so no one from Astralis could rotate back. Free bomb plant, and it just takes far too long to retake the bomb site 5-on-5. Great pistol round from North. And there is investment from Astralis. They've got 2 scouts and upgraded pistols.
Or 2 scouts. Depends a little bit how you play against these scouts. If you end up sort of having too many battles like this one, they line up that 3 hits, he almost gets that double kill, but in the end, they take care of him. But that's a significant amount of damage dished out by just Device there.
Oh, even the tag onto MSL, he can't do anything. 2 HP. He has to just sit back in distraction. He's got to rely on everybody else. Valdi's got 1, but AZ has dropped down. This is getting so tough for North. Scout still in play on dupreeh. That's up top. They've got to rely on Valdi to take him out. He's pushing up through Old Hell.
Yeah, but look at Glaive. He's actually flanking all the way around, so he's going to come in from the same position as Alder is. Good kill from him, and he's still got some health to work with, so this is not looking so bad for North once they can get the bomb down. I think that's the big key right now. Get it planted and see if that was going to work.
They've recovered nicely. The problem is it's essentially a 2-on-2. MSL has been sat in the same spot. He's just basically saying, I cover this point. Glaive's got to make something happen, get some damage done. He's brought low as well. Molotov out, that should be it. Kill from MSL at the end seals it. North survives some danger. Not bad from Astralis, but you probably would have liked more with that kind of an investment on the CT side.
Yeah, and especially that kind of opening, I would say. You know, you get that much damage in early on. You
2
want
tags and a kill.
You know, you want to do it a little bit more. But great job. You know, that's not always so easy to slow down your game and, you know, allow the rest of the round to play itself out. You know, it's really easy to just sort of make a quick decision, and then maybe if it's the wrong one, that's the end.
Well, especially on train as well, where sometimes you can get so intimidated by the amount of angles and the amount of different places people can be in. You can very easily freeze up. North not doing it that round. Nade out towards bomb train, no damage dealt. North not wanting to take too many unnecessary deaths. They've got 2 MAC-10s on Config and AZ. That'll likely be the front line for the bonus money, and a stack towards outside for Astralis. They don't have a flashbang, but there are 4 players on Old Bomb waiting for any kind of indication.
I don't mind this at all for North. You've done a good job up until this point. You know they invested into the last round, so the one thing that could go wrong in this round is if you just sort of walk into a stack. So why not just wait, see what happens? They've got plenty of time. Nothing to worry about here. I want to make a point, Moses. I've said this a lot, and no one's listening ever, which is starting to... I'm a little bit angry, you know. I'm starting to get a little bit upset.
Okay.
That A train that they're all hiding by, the bomb train itself, you can shoot under it. You can shoot under it with a Glock and shoot people that are planting the bomb from the C connector, and no one ever does it. I think I've seen Stewie do it once.
All the time. It's not with a Glock. Stabbed initially with 1 kill. Is that really what's upsetting? Is that how far to the edge you've come?
I find it very, very annoying. Just want someone to try it in a, you know, official match, make it work. Valda does get 2 kills. They only lose configs. I would consider that job well done on the North side. That's 3-0 in their favor. And now Astralis have somebody to work with, including, am I seeing Device pick up the AWP?
Oh, you'll love to see it. That was a big conversation at the desk. So Device is going to go right back into it. He spent a few months at the end of last year. For those who are just tuning in for the major, didn't follow throughout the entirety of this season, not able to attend events, was a little bit ill. He took a couple off to rest up specifically for this tournament. Was still unsure if he would return. Dupree picked up the op in his absence and did a very admirable job, and now Device is taking it back up.
You gotta wonder if that's a map-specific thing that Dupree's just said, listen, you know, I don't mind being the main AWP, but just not on train.
Yeah, very, very well. Oh, look at the fast pace they're coming out. Zipnix, this is a kill. Dupree gets in, he falls, but Zipnix is able to add a second, and it looks like North just wants to get this. Cajun's up top with the AWP. He can't be the one to commit, but he's just looking for picks, and he's found one. So this isn't all bad for North with that pace they came out with.
Still waiting. Smoke is up and Device can't really see anything. Zip's done a good job down there, but that was very patient from Cajun, waiting and expecting somebody to come in from that C connector, and certainly got that kill on Kievi. 3 on 3 with more than a minute left, and already trying to exchange some weapons up there. They're just waiting.
Yeah, they're just going to re-hit this B bomb site, I imagine. They still have 3 smokes, and there's no utility on the CT side. And now that Astralis has no idea what's happening, they have to smoke across the map to try and find information, to try and predict, and be able to see what's coming. So they have to be honest towards that outer site. And actually, North has gone away from that inner bomb site. So Zipnix does an admirable job handling that. I mentioned he's one of my favorite players in this map. The drop down to see if anyone's going to be in ladder room.
Look at how many grenades they have left, though, on North. That's so big right now. If this was just, you know, 3 on 3 with no grenades, I'd say Astralis have a pretty good chance, but they can actually block out so many of these players. Let's see if they manage to do it. MSL sneaks in with no signal at all. There's the smoke, but it's not quite quick enough. Device gets the kill, and then a bullet to the face. MSL quick on the return.
Couple of mistakes exchanged by Astralis and North into this 2-on-2, and I don't think Glaive spotted MSL. Is he going to clear that? MSL just hiding behind the wall, get some damage onto config, and he finds that. MSL in a 1-on-2, and now he's been spotted out.
Oh, that's a pretty big issue. Goes for the spray, hits the headshot. He's been playing so well this tournament, MSL. Tapping the bomb once, Sip crouches to the side, and MSL almost over peeking it. Could have maybe got the kill, but instead is Sip with a triple to clutch it at the end, and he's going to have to defuse as well. There will be enough time for it here, so yeah, 3-1, and they do only survive with 1 member, so you can celebrate that, but you know it's not going to be done yet.
Yeah, Zipnix does this so well, and they just stop pushing forward. Even so, even with this win, this is a great shot. A mistake from Cajun here. These are the mistakes I was talking about. Going before that smoke comes out, maybe some miscommunication on it entirely, but Device doesn't need to go for that follow-up kill through the smoke, trying to get a little fancy, making too much of a play. Zipnix fortunately able to win it out in the end. But look at this buy they're going to have. It's actually not terrible, all things considered. They had to go down to a UMP and Caribbean to get some utility, and it's a double-off setup.
Yes, it is. That could be unbelievably powerful on train, but it does have some downsides when it gets to the retake portion of the map, and we'll see if that's going to be a factor in this round. Dupree very aggressive, and he's going to take out AZ. I think that bullet landed right on top of his face. I almost want to see that replay from AZ's point of view, just because I think he was so close. He had a little bit of fire taking care of Valda.
Oh, and then pushing through the smoke, giving up an advantage. He does get the dink onto config. But it's now 3-on-4 favoring Astralis. No one from North in any kind of position to take advantage of anything. MSL's above ladder. Config in team mid, and Cajun is going to meet up with his teammate inside as well. So this is where you'd expect again that double drop down.
The Grand Slam, as I've been trying to
Oh yeah, that's
impose.
right. You do want that. The Grand Slam.
Yeah, the 10-ton World War II bomb that dropped on bonkers, I would say.
Yeah, why not?
Just seems fitting, you know.
Small talk. So we're not going to aggressively attack Glaive, but at least is going to force him out so that he can't have a quick flank. So Dupree with the AWP is going to try and spot. There are plenty of smokes. There's 2 smokes and 4 flashbangs on the north side of things. You imagine a smoke would be dropped on that lower ramp. The tough part is they kind of missed the timing of when this could be effective because Zipnix is out rotated back. So they have an op at long range and they have Zipnix up in the bomb site. They're going to need a stellar individual effort to clear out this. To clear out Zipnix behind the circles.
There's almost no time, but a missed shot might give them the opportunity. Zip still in the corner, and that's the bomb drop. He does get the follow-up kill, but Dupree most certainly will. And now Cajun can at least get the bomb down, get the bonus money. He's in a 1 versus 3, and this is going to be almost impossible. He's boxed in behind the train. The more time passes, the closer they get. Glaive will take him down. That's such an unenviable position to play when you're boxed in behind that train. What can you really do?
Yeah, and I think you may also be wondering exactly why there was smokes on the north side, why they weren't used. It's because as soon as players see those smokes streaming in or streaming down that ramp, they call for the rotation, so it gives Astralis maybe an extra second to get over there. And if you're wondering who's shouting in the studio, it is Sonic, obviously, known to be one of the loudest coaches we have in the scene, but even Glaive is getting into it, which we don't normally see. The Astralis team is usually stoic and just cold-blooded, but they're getting heated here.
I love it. I prefer much of this, and I mean, we saw them, there was a little bit of talk about this earlier in the studio. Just some banter between Valder and Kerrigan, I believe, on Twitter, you know.
Twitter, yeah,
so maybe the Danish Counter-Strike players are coming alive a little bit, coming out of their shells, you know. I like that. It's good. I prefer it.
Yeah. Well, all AKs now, just 1 pop flash. They've kept this round simple. Valdi's got information. The opening, and there's to run the gauntlet, brought down low, and somehow survives. Hazy's going to get 1 more as they progress onto the bomb train. And it looks like North has the advantage here. Dupree can't respond. Zipnix and Device left.
That was such an impressive spray coming out of Config because it actually tracked Dupree that was jumping in just a perfect arc. It was very nicely done. Zip gonna hit a headshot there on Cajun. It's still a 2-on-3, but unless North make a big mistake right now, how are they gonna dig them out? And there's Device almost getting taken out. He wanted that Molotov in the corner, and now they might just change their minds, and I think they should as well. Gets a little bit of a pick off, and still it's not worth saving or losing this AWP. Gonna be just running away instead. So yeah, another round for North here. Really well done. Just a change of pace.
Change of pace, and there's nothing fancy about it. No real smoke execute. It's just 1 flashbang over to blind just for maybe a half second to allow the players to get out, and then you see Config with the entry. You see them progressing down the lanes, and Astralis couldn't react quick enough. Dupree gets caught off guard trying to rotate over, gets brought down to such low HP that he can't really mount any formidable defenses. That's a 4th round for North.
Yes, it is. I do love the side story of Sonic, Ave, and Wimp. We need, where's Sunder? Where's MJE?
I don't know, what's he doing? You would know.
I don't know what they are, but for me, as I met them yesterday, I sort of shook their hand and said hi. For me, that was like
you
a
were
childhood.
starstruck,
You know, I know that sounds a little bit silly, but yeah, absolutely. For me, those are sort of close to childhood heroes for me. So that was exciting, definitely. Even though obviously at this point they're probably not going to be playing as well.
No, probably not. Well, North is having all the success with AZ on 14 ADR, so still early going into the game. He hasn't gotten too involved. MSL's doing great, 8 kills for him. Valdi's at 6. We just saw that phenomenal player piece out of him. He's told me that story once before, and it's a very cool story coming out of the military and just saying, you know, give me 6 months, and if I haven't made it by then, come up with a new plan. But I want 6 months to be able to dedicate and try it. And here he is at a major, trying to get to the big stage.
I would say that has definitely been worth it. I would say even if for whatever reason, you know, he's not in North in the future, which I don't see being very likely at the moment, but he's a very valuable player. But if it happens, I'm sure he'd be picked up very quickly by another organization. There's almost no doubt about that. Here it comes, the 7th round. All AKs on the north side, whereas on the Astralis side, things are just looking a little bit more miserable. From us, MP9, UMP, I'm not loving this.
And you can see the difference. They're not taking the long angles, which has allowed North to get up Ivy so very quickly. It's just here. MSL doesn't check it, but he responds very well with the headshot of the Korean. Everyone else is close up with these UMPs, with the FAMAS kills. That allows MSL one more kill. Glaive has somehow got to defend this. It's easier to help him out with a couple very nice critical kills.
Sitting at some point right now, getting one more in there. The headshots ringing out halfway across the map. He has got 9 kills right now, only outdone, and unbelievably, by MSL at 10-5. With Config and AC at the bottom, I mean, we can't really give MSL the blame for it, but we want to see those players a little bit higher up on the scoreboard here for North.
You definitely do, and they might need that if they want to have a big T-set at half. Now, still, at this juncture in the game, you're going to say 4 rounds is quite nice to have. It's a pretty big luxury with the pistol round and one more response, so they've got to find ways, and those two guys need to come alive and get involved a bit more if they want to run the score up. But I think for the moment, Astralis has got them in a nice position. Astralis is finally kind of with that desperation by the fact that they've pulled it out. They can swap out to some bigger guns for free. You know, you're in a situation where North doesn't have a whole lot of money to play with. What are they going to do? But if you're Astralis, you're just looking to survive with as many players as possible in this next round because you have such a huge advantage.
I'm hearing a lot of yelling coming out. Quick translation says they think they're going to force.
Oh, well,
and they're right.
He's read it quite nicely, hasn't he?
Yeah, so a really good read coming out of Astralis. That could make a difference, you know, might give them just a little bit more care in their game here. A little bit worrisome. Dupree immediately grenaded out of there, just has to fall back. Can't really hit the shot after that. And Sip is on the bomb side with him. Device was pushed all the way down Ivy to take a look, so wonder if that's going to have a different an impact here. That smoke when Cajun comes back.
It could worry them, yeah. If you see that smoke as a terrorist, you're kind of thinking the communication immediately is that they might have pushed Ivy. They might have pushed Ivy. And the tough part is, since it's such a remote portion of the map, if you want to go clear it out as a terrorist, it just eats so much time off the clock. You see most of North huddled up here in T-Con. They only have 3 flashbangs, so these have got to be bombed over. Careby, if he gets blind, there's a chance, and he does. Completely blind. Valdi jumps up to exactly where he is, and he's dropped.
So many kills coming his way. He had no idea that they were going to be all rushing right at him. He was going to go down. Good pickup from Dupree, but they've lost Device in the meantime, and this is just, again, raw power coming out of North and no response from Astralis. 2 of their players got picked off before anyone even had a chance to really say anything.
Just with flashbangs, a couple very effective rounds that North has put together, just huddling up, bombing over a flashbang and saying, let's go, especially against, you know, the op of Dupree gets 2 kills because there's no smokes to use on that hit from North, but it doesn't even matter. Glaive, Careby, and Device all dropped very, very quickly, so save the weapons if you're Dupree and Zipnix, and I mentioned they wanted to keep as many players alive. The interesting thing is we saw them force up with just some SMGs. Are they going to do it again? Because you can see the money on Dupree, he'll be able to drop an M4 over if he survives, which it looks like he will, and then you have a situation where you've got, you know, 2 rifles, maybe an SMG, and maybe just pistols. So it's not exactly the worst buy you'd think to come out.
No, you're right. It's obviously a risk, but maybe one that they do want to take. And indeed, you're right, Moses. That's exactly what they've gone for here. I'm kind of trying to think. I don't think Kirby had a grenade that round. So that's a difference, right? When they're running up either side of the train like that, the best thing for him would have been if he had had a Molotov to sort of block off one side, worry about the other. The
tough part is when North kind of brings out this style, and we saw it on one of those other rounds towards the inner bomb site when they were left in like a 3-on-3, is they're not throwing the smokes over the wall that gives them the indication. So normally if you're a Caribbean, you have like a Molotov or a smoke or an HE grenade, you see something start streaming over the roof, and that's when you drop the Molotov. This is just one flashbang that he doesn't even see coming, and then all of a sudden they're close to him. They're right on top of him, 2 or 3 players. So it's tough to react to that. That's where you'd want the AWPs to kind of be the ones taking the first contact, because you can just get that one pick and hide.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see how it's going to unfold here, as we did have a little bit of a timeout. We're right back into it here at 5-3. So either way you spin this, North have got a really great start in this game, and Astralis are all the time on the edge of ecoing, and if that starts to happen, I mean, who knows? Oh, a little bit of a switcheroo.
All right. Config being a team player, dropping the AK over, picking up a deagle for himself. Little confusion from North out of that timeout.
Look at the pre.
He's got a great angle. You can see on the mini-map, or no, you can't, excuse me, there is a smoke behind Dupree trying to mask the fact that he's pushed up. I promise you, it was there.
Oh, it definitely was, and he's just waiting for it right now. Well, there is every once in a while taking a look in this direction to try and figure out what's going on. He is a little bit paranoid that something might be happening. That flashbang is going to go just a little bit past, and I'll force Dupree back just fine. So that's a cheap way to get rid of him.
This is the critical fight here. They need to be able to clear Device out. He's only got a CZ. I don't believe they know he's there. We've seen them do this stack, the Grand Slam, so to speak, to take control of this position. It's going to be very tough to deal with, and he's actually spammed down. Low HP. Molotov coming out for MSL. Not going to throw it. Device is playing a dangerous game now. MSL drops down. Almost ill-advised, almost gets the kill. Dupree finds one. It's a 4-on-4 and MSL is low. Dupree's got to do more, and he's stuck. He has to just find his way out, and they're above him. Doesn't realize it until it's too late.
Yes, indeed. Good spray from Kirby, and they are all at the bomb side here. MSL is very low on health. If he goes down without taking anyone with him, that could be a troublesome. There goes the bomb denied by Glaive. That MP9 coming into play. 1 versus 3, and he's going to go down to Kirby. A huge risk from Astralis buying into this round, but it does work out. They save the AWP, and it's Kirby with the triple who actually saves the day. That's 2 big risks that Astralis have taken with their buy, winning some of these rounds at the outer bomb site when they only have, you know, they have 2 or 3 SMGs on the board. So this is phenomenal that Astralis is able to hold their grip onto this half. If they had lost that and been reset North, their score would have just ballooned. And instead, it's them who's going to have to go back to likely some kind of a save or a half buy. Or a force buy. Half buy, force buy. UMP coming out for MSL. I'm wondering about
got
this.
121 ADR, Anders.
That is, I mean, I keep saying that it's surprising, but we've seen so many good games out of MSL. It's just that he is supposed to be outshined by the rest of his team. I think that's just the way to put it. It's not that he's a bad player. It's just that it's just one of those things, right? When he's at the top of the scoreboard, you think, okay, that probably means that somebody else isn't, you know, quite getting enough space or whatever it may be. But yeah, he's a big part of the reason why they're this far ahead, not just tactically, but on the scoreboard as well. 11 kills. We'll see how this goes. 10th round is in. We have a double AK, double deagle, and a single UMP on North here. So they want to sort of smack it right back in Strada's face.
I'll see if they can. This is more dicey than some of the other risky buys that we've seen.
Especially on the grenade front, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's only, what, 3 smokes, no flashbangs, and now no HE grenades. So they only have the 3 smokes to work with. This can't really be any kind of complex tactic. This is more of a hit and trade kind of scenario.
Which they have been good at. Not going to get any flashbangs, you're right, so that's a bit unfortunate. But just a couple of good smokes could do the job as well. Starting to gravitate towards that A side. They currently don't have control of Pop Dog, and that could be a problem. If you try and get out A main and Glaive is still allowed to be in here, you're going to get crossfired so badly.
This feels like a fake. This feels like Valdi and MSL are going to throw their smokes and try and hit the center bomb site, try and get 1 kill and actually make a presence in there. And during the rotations, AZ, Config, and Cajun B are going to hit that outer bomb site, maybe pick off someone with a haphazard rotation, maybe just take over the bomb site when everyone leaves.
You're right. So far, they get down on the low ground there. It does go down, but Glaive, he's almost rotating. Is that going to go for him? And Dupree will pick up just in time. As Glaive does go down. AZ back with a vengeance here to take down. Not bad at all. The spray is in. It failed. He still gets it on Balder. Unbelievably, Sivnik's just predicting it through the smoke, and now Config is going to go cancel it for the moment, and he goes down. There's a bit of a weird fight there. 2-on-2 now as Device and Kirby can't stop the bomb from going down. Let's see what Config and AZ can do. Got a couple of kills each. There's AZ again, long range with a headshot, taking him down, and Config to close out the round. North, they win it anyway.
Oh, it's a brilliant play. Much like the pistol round, they're just pulling these rotations and really taking advantage of them. Everyone from Astralis books it towards inside. I mean, Glaive is almost entirely caught off. He somehow gets behind E-Box, but still loses the fight eventually. But then you could just see it's all that North has to worry about when they rotate back towards the safe bomb site is that 1 choke point. 3 members of Astralis there trying to get through, and AZ's already got the angle stopping it from happening. And it's another force buy into this next round. Astralis gonna try and pull it off again. This one, I don't know if they can do it, Anders. 3 CZs, 2 M4s.
Really really are asking a lot, but they've already got the early kill there. Pushing a little bit back up, and Device is in the middle of that Ivy lane. In the meantime, they've lost to Pretty and Glaive, so Device almost has to come up with a double kill here to make this viable. Smoking just almost the one. Valder on 8 health, that might have been it, but not this time. Kirby alone in a 1 versus 4, and it's looking fabulous at the moment for North. They're about to be on 7 rounds.
They're going to be so happy with this, because at this juncture in the game, this late in it, when they finally wrestle away economic control from Astralis, when they finally break it, they can balloon this lead quite high. Kirby's got an AK-47, and all he's thinking of doing is saving it. But at this route, Config and Cajun have him trapped if they push forward whatsoever. If they want to hunt this down, they can. It's not the biggest deal if he keeps it, because again, with Astralis forced by into that round, they're not going to have any money to really have anything behind it. So if you're North, all you have to worry about is likely 1 AK. But at 7-4 and facing his save round, North have a chance to have a really, really strong T side.
So now if you look at the overall picture, 3 crazy force-up rounds from Astralis. They've won 2 out of 3. They're only on 4 rounds. So, you know, if they win 0 out of those 3, then that's just North completely ruining the game and taking over everything. That's not a good sign at all for Astralis.
Not looking great for your boys, Anders.
No, definitely not. But I must say, I'm very impressed by North. Their understanding of the game right now is sort of very high quality. And I mean, as you've been mentioning a couple of times, just the idea of sort of drawing out some of those rotations, and then it's perfect. It's beautiful to watch.
Yeah, they've done a great job with that. And it's not just that, but it's the knowledge, obviously, across the team of what exactly that fake is going to do and where it's going to funnel the Astralis players when they try and recover and rotate back. It's that kind of knowledge of blocking off the rotation back to the correct bomb site, which has been great. Dupree is out towards Ivy. Kirby with the AK-47 close T-mid. There he only has a one-on-one duel, but you can see North already getting towards the end of Ivy. So Dupree is here, so is Glaive, and they have some kind of a crossfire, but it's just with a pistol, so it's not going to be the strongest. It's all on Kirby, essentially, in this round.
The quick kill, he does get it on Valder. Still got much more work to do. Glaive taking down MSL. 3 on 3. But there is a bit of a pinch coming in with AC from the other side. Can he make his way through and break this hold open? Because I feel like right now they're in a bit of a weird standoff that they don't really want to keep forever. There's a good headshot taking down Kirby. Config catching him right at the last second. And now it's just the pistols left, and this should be no problem. Glaive and Sip, they can't even really help each other out all that much.
You can see how worried Glaive is. I mean, when there's this much silence and all you have is a USP on train, you just feel really uncomfortable, and he almost even then finds the kill on the Config. Down to 7 HP, and now you essentially just send Config forward and see if you can flush out Zipnix. And they're pausing again, using all the time on the clock. 30 seconds remaining, and they just want to make sure Zipnix is out into the open when they peek, and that's exactly what happens. Some danger in that round, but North recover nicely. 8-4. And Astralis at this point simply have to buy whatever they can, and it's gonna be 5 rifles. No kits though.
No, none at all. That's absolutely worth pointing out. I love this thing from North where they sort of initiate the fight, and then once there is a moment or an opportunity to cool it down, then they just wait for a long time. That's very frustrating to play against. It's so hard when you're on the CT side. And
it's so good against a team like Astralis that's very good in mid-round. Their calls when they're in those 3-on-3s and those 3v2s and everything, it's usually so great, but goes on them in these kind of scenarios, and North is the one hitting pause. That's where they're getting put at a disadvantage at the moment.
Cajun is smoked out, but not going to be too much trouble for him. Molotov there to let Kirby go and peek it out, but now North will be aware that there could be a player in there. You actually sometimes see people shoot through this wall that is to the left of Cajun, and you can shoot right through with the AWP, so we've seen that in the past when people are worried that someone's going to be in there. As Cajun obviously is. If they can't win this round, Astralis, this whole first half is going to go right down the toilet. It's going to be done.
They did such a good job of keeping themselves involved, trading some rounds in the middle portion of the half, and yeah, eventually just hit the wall. No more smokes for Astralis. They can't delay anything. 3 flashbangs and an HE grenade. They're going to have to rely on winning some battles. Dupree, Kirby, and Glaive all in a straight line against the wall. And again, this looks like a fake. Valde and Config going to apply pressure towards Ivy. MSL, Cajun, and AZ pushing towards the inner site. Any kill out here. They don't realize it, but Dupree misses his shots.
And that's just as Device had fallen back, so he couldn't even... They do line up for Device, and he's going to pick up one. Picks on the other side, Device standing up. There's a bit of a headshot battle going on. Sip going very low, and somehow Config managed to make it around the corner. Sip still winning that fight, but the bomb is planted. Grenade right on MSL's face, and he still wins the round. Device goes down, and it's a 2-on-2. Health advantage a little bit here for Astralis, but is that going to be enough? It hits both of them. Missed shot from Cajun B. Just need one more kill, and it's going to be a very tricky retake here. Again, they don't have the kid. Great flick coming out. Cajun B taking down one, and now a lot of trouble here for Glaive. He's quickly running out of time, and he's got 2 targets to find. Making his way up the sidewalk and making a lot of noise, and they're just going to rotate back and try and buy some time. There's one kill, and then the Molotov right on the bomb, so that's it. Gets the kill, but it doesn't matter. Oh my god, North are just playing this so well.
Yeah, they're running up ragged across this map. That's great. Out towards Ivy, that kill onto Dupree. Device has to shore up CT spawn, and that's why he's not there to support Zipnix, who can only get one. This is tough. Astralis is just getting played with. They can't find the reads, and North is doing a phenomenal job of applying pressure on one side of the map, exploiting it on the other one. It just continues.
It's definitely very interesting right here. 9-4 tactical timeout being called here for Astralis.
If you're a team you're struggling on train, or someone who's not sure how to play the T side of train, watch this game over again. Watch the demo. Watch North how they're kind of doing this, and it's very simple stuff. I mean, they're not doing anything super fancy. They're just doing it phenomenally. So study this one for sure.
Yeah, textbook Counter-Strike. It doesn't really always work out that way. I mean, sometimes you try and execute these things, and I guess it is, your styles almost have to match a bit, because if you're playing a team that's very aggressive on CTs, I'd say, you could end up in a situation where some of these fakes from North are not going to work out all that well.
Yes. On the other hand, if you were playing against a team that plays close up, like Astralis has at certain points during this game, those flashbang contact plays, those like 1 or 2 flashes and just hit, have worked extremely well. And now Astralis in that nightmare zone of just, we have to buy, we need more rounds, we need more than 4. Naded in towards T-mid, that could do some damage. Config just 21, and it's aggression towards inside. They tried this another time when they had a weaker buy. This time MSL reads it, and Device is also brought down. Nothing going well in this round for Astralis just now, but Device is traded off immediately.
Doesn't hear Valde quite in time, and that's the end of him. Love that early Molotov onto the push at B there, just zoning out Sip and Kirby. They couldn't really both push, and that was very nicely done. Now, 4 versus 3. Bit of a gamble here for Astralis, pushing up towards the A-bomb site and just leaving Sip close by as well. See how that works out for them if they're going to be paid for this kind of gamble.
Here's this North hitting the pause button again. You really make Astralis sweat, because you can see they don't really... They want information, but they can't really go anywhere. They don't have like the firepower to kind of push up and be aggressive and try and find something. So they're just trying to find positions where they have some kind of an advantage. It's all on Zipnix. I said he was great at playing the center bomb site, but this is too much. Hazy and MSL, 2 players coming down below, and he can't even get the first one. That pretty much seals it. They'll look at the bomb planted in a 4-on-2, and Glaive's got to save that M4, and I think Dupree needs to go try and find the AK-47 that Config dropped.
Yeah, that would be the ideal play, and even if Sip got the kill on MSL, you have to think that was the end of that round anyway. Nobody there to really back him up, so they're looking for it. Did somebody throw it away?
Valdi's been throwing those rifles away when somene's died in the past. I didn't actually catch it in this game. Ooh, hello.
That's very tricky indeed. You want to do that, and I mean, it is kind of a, a known thing to be doing, but sometimes you forget about it, So much else going on. In the middle of a war zone after all.
Underrated play.
Yeah, absolutely is.
Kind of a dick move.
Yeah, it kind of is too.
Yeah, more of that.
Yeah, definitely more of that. 10-4, ladies and gentlemen. This is not what everybody was expecting, at least. The North coming up with an incredibly strong T side here. Astralis have been hitting shots. They've been doing good stuff, but right now I would say, I think even more than just at an individual level, tactically they've really been outplayed a lot. And we've got the camera crew even on it. This is brilliant.
Yeah, that's nice.
Valde, the culprit.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, North has outplayed Astralis tactically, and also, I mean, at the moment, in these past 5 rounds or so, they've had the economic advantage. Look at Config go and drop, but same with Device. What a shot from AZ, the response. And KRB's now going to push around this smoke, trying to make something happen, but he's dropped by Cajun B, protecting his teammate that opened up the avenue for MSL to move towards the bomb train. They haven't seen anything because of the smoke. The op still ringing true, but so much damage onto Dupree and Glaive, and all of Astralis once again caught in a choke point on the wrong side of the smoke.
You definitely don't want that. 3-on-3, but the health heavily favoring North at the moment. Bomb attempted here, and it looks like it's going to be successful as well. Nobody can stop it. MSL now ready and waiting. I'm going to fall all the way back here to cover it. And what can they do? They don't have a smoke for the defuse. They have a Molotov, but that's not quite the same thing. And that's a very good angle here. The spray comes in. He almost gets Glaive. Headshot in return instead. MSL within hearing range. Can hear when someone tab it. Kill goes for a second. MSL coming up big with the double and sitting on the bomb, ready and waiting. And it's going to be the headshot for the 11-4 finish here in favor of North. I mean, MSL at 17 kills. Doesn't look like he's celebrating all that much, but that is just an unbelievable performance from him.
Just silencing all the haters. A great first half, both individually and tactically from North, as we mentioned a couple of times. Also, we mentioned, you know, the start of this game about 5 or 6 rounds in. It was quiet from Config and AZ. They both end on 10 kills, which is phenomenal. They stepped up in a big way. Both of them critical parts of some of those fakes that North was running over and over and over again.
We said it going into the match, but one of these two teams is going to be 0-2. So that's what do you make of that? I mean, I don't know. I guess it is slightly more shocking if it's Astralis, but still.
Yeah, you could say that, but also, I mean, remember, this is a team that spent 2 to 3 months at the end of the year without Device and like kind of in a limbo of whether he would come back or not. So,
do we want to give them that excuse, Moses?
I don't mind.
All right, feeling charitable.
I mean, listen, it doesn't excuse like a 16-2 loss to Mouse Sports, for instance, but you'd expect that to be like closer at some level, but certainly. I mean,
you know, I'm ready to make that excuse, but
you're always ready to do that.
I'm surprised that you are. All right. 11-4, ladies and gentlemen, here the 16th round's coming up. We do have a single smoke there on the diffuse kit on Valda, just in case anything goes horribly wrong, but it doesn't look like there's going to be a huge setup here for Astralis. It's just smoke, flashbang, and then probably going to be fairly aggressive. They are expecting some aggression out of North, so maybe they've been watching demos. Over at Ivy, there's 3 people waiting.
I mean, it's the main power of their attack, right? So you want to make sure if that gets shut down and that also has the bomb, then there's just nothing. So
they're going to separate Cajun and AZ. That one smoke means AZ is now alone at Ivy. Cajun not sure what's going on yet. 3 people are going to come running through. AZ still standing his ground and doing it well. There's the headshot. Cajun pushing through, getting one more. So as you said, the main thrust almost completely dismantled at this point. Astralis, they must win this round if they want any chance of making a comeback. It's now or never. Glaive is going to take a headshot. A Zip is dropping low and he's going to lose to Config. Glaive again making it work. Still a 2-on-3, but now he's alone. And this just is not working out. A bit of a long-range battle. They should just be waiting or encapsulate him. Valda taking him down for the end, and that's a 12-4 lead now.
What a great job from AZ and Cajun. Cajun coming right through that smoke, but it doesn't work. If AZ doesn't get that first kill, I think they're close enough to kind of actually fight Cajun. But the fact that he gets the first one keeps them at bay, keeps them with a lot of space in between. That's really good stuff, right? Coming right through that smoke. It's not a wall. It's just for visual effect.
Just to give you that feeling, you know. I mean, they need that kill on it. They either need the kill on it, or they need to move him back.
Yeah, I mean, like if you get even if you just get a goosh, you force him back to the corner, and then you've gained some ground. 12-4, and Astralis again buying up into this, so they're going to be hamstrung perhaps in the 4th round if they don't get some plants in these next 2. We'll see what the pistols can do. We've seen them turn the tides throughout this event. Valdi's going to back off inside. Cajun's already rotated to support him.
Are they ready for what's coming? A couple of deagles. So for North, you're happy right now that they're not giving many chances for an opening fight here.
I think MSL spotted one in T-Con. He's kind of peeking on the side of the train. He's up top. He just wants to see some information from anyone. Astralis is still very spread out. So I haven't decided exactly where they want to hit, and MSL is just hoping for some fortunate timing at the moment. I think all of North is playing far enough back. Those flashbangs aren't going to do a whole lot, so you have to hope Dupree, Careby with these deagles, they're going to provide you with something.
Anything at this point. 40 seconds. And North content to just wait right now. Why would they not? It is up to Astralis after all to put the bomb down, and Dupree's just reminded himself that. We've forgot something in the meantime. 30 seconds here, and now they're starting to see if they can maybe set up for some sort of crunch on the A-bomb side. This works so much better if they had more grenades, but it's all they've got.
If AZ goes down, MSL's pretty much dead as well, so big roll for AZ. Actually, he turns away. They're going to get a lot of ground. They're going to be able to turn the score. MSL's in danger. AZ wins the first one. Now peeking with the deagle, finds both. That's exactly why in Dupree has it. This is brilliant now from Astralis as the deagles shut him down. And it's just that one decision from AZ to head over towards the back of the train that allows him to get that angle.
Careby with an impressive triple in the round. And Valda back here, nothing he could do at this point in time with the FAMAS. Just gonna have to try and trek out of there. That is such a crazy round. Just waiting almost the entirety of the round, hoping. And then when they finally get the word go, then it works really well.
I think AZ will be a little bit pissed off if he watches that back and sees exactly when they jump through that smoke, right when he moves. And then MSL is just, that's the kind of the tough part, if the MSL in that position, if AZ goes down. Because at least if MSL's on top of the train, like we saw for most of the round as well, he can simply turn, and he's relatively safe from middle. Like, they can still get on the train and everything, but he can at least help out AZ. When he gets into that new position, he's just got so many angles and there's nowhere to really go.
They lost the preceding 7 rounds, Astralis, in a row, so it's kind of about time that they got back in the game. See again, Sonic's obviously fired up. Now we'll have to find out if that's just all for show or if he can really bring the team back on their feet here, because they're very close to losing this map. 5-12, and you definitely don't want that. I mean, this sort of challenger stage has just been, or the new challenger, what new legends I guess we're in.
Yes.
Has been so competitive. There are so many good teams now. You can't even say, oh, if we lose, we can always, you know, run into some lower level team and maybe it'll be all right. Like, that doesn't seem likely anymore.
No, it really doesn't. It's going to be tough all the way through. MSL taking some fire damage on top of the train now with the CZ. He'll swing out wide and he's not looking the right way, so he gets taken out. And Dupree's going to make his way towards the bomb site. Doing some of these corners, gets off some free shots, but can't find anything. That should be an easy cleanup here. Dupree's got 3. He can go for the ace if he's feeling spunky.
More damage, no kills.
More damage, please. That's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly had the right idea.
I like the decision by North, though. There's no real investment in that round. There's no armor. There's no utility bought up. They just go for the naked pistols, essentially. Just seeing if they can turn something around, magically get a couple of good kills. But it preserves their economy to make sure the first time they buy, they have everything they could want. They're going to have the M4s. They're going to have the utility. They're going to have an AWP on Cajun as well. So the buy that's coming in the next round is going to be great for North.
And that's what they're looking for, and I can respect that. Just close this game out. You have the 11 lead, you should be winning the game. No reason for anything crazy. Unlike North here, who've picked up a kill early on, a 3-man rush to take down Zip. So, a little bit of an unfair fight, but...
Well, the funny thing is, Astralis has taken the A-bomb site, which is the appropriate response, but the bomb is back towards T-spawn.
Small detail.
Who needs to plant if you kill everyone? Careby's going hunting, he eats a bullet to the forehead, but Device is going to be able to pounce, so he's got a kill in the round. Utility being dropped to protect the bomb as it makes its way back towards the A-bomb site. No real danger presented here. Device even going to get one more.
Yeah, they managed to lock it down, so it did look funny for a moment. But now it's serious business for Valda, who's being hunted a fair bit. At least Glaive and Dupree could put some effort into it. They have the health for it, and that's exactly what they're doing. Just a FAMAS here in play for North, but still, too much of anything. He's going to be taking down Dupree, and now picking up an AK instead. And can he make the final crossing here? They are all on the other side, so very tricky at the moment. The bomb's still ticking, but not quite gone off yet, so These last few seconds here are very long for Valder, and he's going to go down to device. That will be another round, 7-12, and still continuing. The gap is slowly closing, but now is where it's going to get really interesting.
Yeah, this is where the up comes out for Cage, and he doesn't have any utility behind it, but the M4s, on the other hand, have everything they could need. The only thing they're missing at the moment, Anders, is kits, which is, as you know, on Train, on every map, really, but the retakes, you need to have those kits, especially on Train, because there's so many different spots you can hide in the post plant. You need those extra sensors.
Yeah, how does the rhyme go? Don't be a loser, buy a diffuser.
Yeah.
Like that.
That is a good rhyme.
Now, 4 in the A-bomb site, Valder alone on B. Pretty common setup right now, and MSL is obviously being dynamic there in the connect, he can go where he wants. Timely Molotov.
Had to prove this it for a little bit, not too much damage. This Ivy defense for North has been critical for a number of rounds earlier. The two biggest rounds, the pistol round and the following. Hazy's got the angle now, gonna drop the smoke, but I think Glaive spots the leg, goes for the spam, gets one, and massive damage on the Glaive. Oh, Device has got to be frustrated, he didn't deserve that. He just peeks right into it.
And that's so critical when you're just at that edge and you hear the smoke coming in, you have, you know, less than a second to make up your mind. And arguably they made the wrong choice, you know, maybe they could have tried to fight him through the smoke. Just say, all right, well, we've already got 2 people here, so let's just go for it. There's main, and they go for the peak. Cajun goes down immediately. Not ready for that boost. Dupree will take the kill. Now they got 40 seconds left, but if they start to go for B, which I think they will, MSL and Valder have such a great setup. I love this because all the focus is going to be on MSL, and chances are they're going to forget to check Valder.
Well, also, you're not going to expect 2 players at this stage in the game with that kill towards outside to be close up. You might expect 1 close and 1 farther, and that's where it can get real nasty.
Look at, he's almost a beacon up on that train. He's just saying, yeah, you know, just come and fight me and see what happens. Ready and waiting, his spray is in. He's going to get one, and very low health. Down on the low ground, it's Valder, and he did get checked. He goes down, but MSL's on a couple. One slot, he gets one more headshot in there with 4 seconds left. The bomb is dropped, and that's the round. Glaive can't do anything. He has to back off. Again, MSL, AZ with a couple of kills too, but he's got 20 kills here. Even with Valdi not even finding anything in that kind of a setup, you'd expect him to have at least gotten 1, but even with Valdi there, they just buy enough time. MSL still getting 2 kills, and it's on the high HP players. Everyone who's left after that just doesn't have the HP to take fights. And North survive with 2. They're still beat up in terms of their money, but this is going to be stronger. The one thing they're missing is that AWP. Cajun had it in the last round, but he did get dropped. He did get out-dueled by Dupree. And Dupree is back on the AWP for at least the T side. See how that goes. I feel like when we saw him at the Blast Pro series, he was very aggressive with it.
Well, the things he did at Blast Pro series with the AWP weren't really fair in the context of Counter-Strike. He was a bit unreal.
Yeah, you don't think he can bring that back?
You almost feel like he has to if they want to make this comeback. This is a must-win round for Astralis. Down 7-13. If North is able to get to 14 here, I think that's too big of a gap this stage in the game.
Yeah. I think someone on the desk made that point that it is a little bit different when you're playing just, you know, freshly with a stand-in as they were at the Blast Pro, you know, just saying, all right, listen, you know, let's just give it our all here. And they certainly did, but now definitely there's a lot more pressure on Astralis. An enormous amount of pressure, in fact, as they are 3 rounds away from losing this map and going 0-2 in the group. So don't want to do that. Now Dupree setting up for a bit of a normal smoke that we know towards the bomb site. And is he going to be joined by anybody else? Oh, just the one, it seems.
I think we've only seen 1 team in the history of Swiss system since we started using it actually come back from an 0-2 to qualify. Ooh. So you want to talk about in the grander context, I'm pretty sure that's accurate. Might be 2 teams or so. Cajun's going to get forced out by a Molotov, and the smokes that Astralis are setting up in the bomb trap might actually help him. He's going to take that fight, finds 1, re-peeks into the op of Dupree, hits a nice shot, and the rest of them really presented themselves. There's Config, takes the opper, spraying down the bomb planter, almost gets it on device. And he's trying to find it through the smoke, but it's returned.
3 as MSL gets the kill, but they don't check the corner, and AC goes down. Valder and MSL, this would be one hell of a steal if they could pull it off. They do not have any smokes left, and as you can tell, Valder is quite far away. He's way down, jumping right into Sip. And that will be it, 8-13, but that isn't really what concerns me. The real trouble is the money here for North, so even if they have a pretty big 5-round lead, they're not all going to be buy rounds.
And they've got to be cautious with how they approach these next few rounds in terms of their money, of what they buy and when they choose to buy it, because if they get into that cycle that Astralis was in, where you hurt your economy moving forward, they can very easily lose this game. It still seems like they have a good lead at the moment, but that's going to disappear very quickly if they don't get themselves a strong buy to try to get back on the board. You don't want to be messing around with force spots too much at this stage in the game. Now a fast-paced hit from Astralis. Outside rush, smokes are down, Molotovs raining through. Close up, Caribou with 2 kill, and Glaive gets 1. Around to take care of him, and spins. Not able to handle it though, and this is going to be likely a 9th unless AZ can pull something incredible off. Actually, never mind. The bomb site in B is already taken. This is pretty much over. Glaive's just going to back off, doesn't want to lose one.
Yeah, they actually know where AZ is. They've got him locked in, so yeah, the whole team up for the hunt here. Best AZ could do right now is take a lot of rounds, make sure they don't have what it takes, and Device will drop him. So there's no trouble at all here. 9-13, and now they're creeping ever so closely. It's, at this point, a little bit scary, I would say, for North. I mean, I wouldn't panic, but you kind of know what can happen now. They're just on the edge of making this comeback work.
They really are. And this is smart. I like this. I don't know. They said they're going to have to be careful of how they approach their economy. One more save. And in this kind of a scenario, in this game, it hurts to make these save rounds. You as a player, you hate giving up a round where you just have the pistols, but it absolutely has to be done here. So that next round, they can have the off-back, they can have the nades and utility back.
Valde playing close inside, does have an upgraded pistol, and he's being joined by Cajun. I actually would like to see Valde and Cajun play on this sidewalk ramp over at B, but when they have rifles, and I would like to see Cajun at the bottom of the ramp with the AWP, and Valde actually sort of, you know, in the middle of the ramp where people stand all the way to the right-hand side of the board. I'd love to see that kind of setup from them, just to try and catch Astralis off guard.
Oh, I really wish we didn't catch that play from Config on camera. That one hurts me.
Just don't worry about it.
That's, I feel so bad. Well, about to get taken out as well. Astralis. They looked down and out of this, but now you can see they're building up into that critical mass where they are just looking so well rehearsed, so well versed in how they take these bomb sites, clearing everything. Great teamwork. Not caught off guard by anything.
Do believe that was a nice I just heard.
Nice?
Yeah, nice, nice.
The word that translates into every language.
Yes, it does. Very popular here at the Major so far. 13-10, 3-round difference. Now the double orb is in effect here, and that could be very interesting. We'll see if Astralis are ready for it. They're certainly catching up, but it's not there yet, and North could close this out very quickly if they just get a bit of traction here in the second half.
Cajun's gonna have an up inside. AZ has his out towards Ivy, looking for any kind of a fast play in that Molotov. Cajun wants to stand in it for a little bit. And wisely, Zipnix was patient before peeking, so Cajun takes some free damage. He's gonna fall back though, not too bad. Astralis is going to have to clear out Config. The drop flash and a follow-up. Config looked right back into it. Glaive gets the kill. He's going to start making aggression towards the connection. He adds one more onto it, and a third somehow. Glaive has had some heroics in this round, and it's all down to Valde.
He almost could have caught 2 inside the smoke, and he's managed to sneak up. Might be able to get Sip here on the other side, and that's an easy enough spray. But now the bomb is making its way down into the pop dog ladder, and out here, Cajun long range. Can he stop it from going down? No, it's not going to be quick enough, and on the other side, Valde is also a little bit slow, so bomb has been planted, and retaking this now is going to be almost impossible. They have a smoke, they don't have a single kit picked up. I would say if they can't get a kill within 10 seconds or so, they need to stop this, and Cajun loses the AWP to Device, and Valde just has to walk out. It's so interesting how many different creative ways there are of taking that pop door, right? Because we've seen the so-called Grand Slam, or at least the double dive into pop dog, and we know sort of the regular pop flashes you can throw, but this is actually Glaive throwing a pop flash and jumping down with it. The flash hits the ground, and then he's sort of right on top of it.
I think he dropped it, and then someone else threw the regular pop flash down right after it, and he went down with that one. I saw Config turn away, and it looked like he dodged the first one. Regardless, Fair play to Glaive. That's a disgusting round. This kill is incredible. Config gets completely blind. Then he just keeps pushing forward. AZ coming through the smoke isn't ready for this. That's an AWP, not wieldy. Couldn't find it. And MSL jumping on top of the train is just an easy target. So it's a very, very cool sequence out of Glaive. You can see he's given some easy kills by perhaps some positional mistakes by the North players. But
yeah,
those are the mistakes that happen when you start feeling the pressure.
I think for a hot second there, MSL just, thought he was a superhero. Just did want to make the leap over to that train.
He had a phenomenal first half.
Oh, definitely. But that was overreaching a tiny bit. 13-11, 25th round. The gap has shrunk to just 2 rounds. But again, that is not the whole story. The rest of it has to do with this economy situation for North. They're not having a good time.
Yeah, saving, sitting 1 round out again as Astralis creep closer. Valdi's got an M4, a couple upgraded pistols around it, so putting Valdi inside with the only weapon and just telling him he's got to be a god, and then everyone else kind of stacking outside. AZ's going to have a lot of pressure put on him, and Valdi wants to make a play quickly. Trying to get a cheeky kill over the smoke. KRB alone in T-mid as well. Config's just going to push up. There goes AZ. That's towards Ivy. He peeks out, trying to fall back, and now the hit is on. He's going to get a lot of ground, and with Valdi going down, it's all over here. Can't even get one.
Not easy at all. Does have the AK-47 and has made the jump back. The whole team saw that one, so are they going to come and hunt for him? They have quite a lot of money on the other side, so they can sort of be excused for maybe being a bit frag hungry. See if he can make his escape. Not going to work out. Sip coming in from behind. A lot of yelling going on still again. They are fired up at the moment, Moses. It's 12-13. Can you really blame them?
Here's the tough part is, like, we've been kind of talking about the context of the economy of this whole game and how much it's meant that the CT side just keeps getting broken and can't really string anything together. Astralis hasn't really taken a whole lot of losses. They've got so much money. They've got 3 players over 10,000, and they've got 1 player just underneath it. I mean, they're going to be able to buy for the majority of these last 5 rounds of this game.
Slight nightmare unfolding here for the North team, who honestly did such an incredible job playing that T-side. It was 11-4, but there's the flick coming in. They boosted a bit quicker than Cajun could get up the ladder, and he's gone dead out of the round. Hazy thinking about going aggressive down here against Device. If he doesn't win this fight, that just might be the round already. Config is there to try and help him out. He turns around for it. It's such a great idea, but it doesn't work out. Device somehow gets the kill.
That's positional awareness of Device, using the trash can to be able to avoid that flashbang. It popped on the other side of it. Because he's leaned so close into it, he doesn't get blind whatsoever. Great job by Device finding a nice spot to watch for that push. And obviously the response from North all across the map is get aggressive, try and make something happen. Dupree spotted this, so it's being read. And Device is starting to hunt. Zipnix and KRB aren't even going to stay with the bomb. They're on the hunt as well. North need these weapons, and they're not going to be able to keep them. One more from Dupree. You can hear Zonic shout with every kill coming out for Astralis. And this comeback has been accomplished. It's going to be 13-13. MSL goes down without a whimper.
I think that was a nice, followed up by that sick. So just we've got some variation going on here.
This is the second time Cajun has been picked off by Dupree on top of that train, which is tough. And obviously we saw again there the flashbang being avoided due to the trash can.
Just look at Sonic. He's loving every second of this. 13-13. The scoreline is tied up almost unbelievably. 11-4 in the first half, and now we're at 13-13. Let's see how this unfolds now. North are under a lot of pressure, and they must be feeling it. AWP shot rings in, and now Device wants to peek out with the AK-47. Can we get a bit of a chance here? Valdi in a lot of trouble. MSL drops. Cajun is next, and 1 bullet here, and that's going to be it. 14-13. They're back in the lead. Moses, this is ridiculous. What are we seeing? Dupree's up to 24 kills. Device at 21. He's been absent for the team for some time, but it seems like he's found his way right back in the groove.
It's just like typical Device, isn't it? Like, you don't even, like, I guess it's almost kind of a meme at this point of, like, you don't remember, don't remember the flick or whatever it is, but that's like a very quiet 21 kills for Device. But he is that kind of, like, very quiet all-star player we have in Counter-Strike where you don't even realize that he's racked up this many kills. We talked about North in the first half, the great T-side they put together. Tactically brilliant. This This has just been fundamentally solid from Astralis, and more aggression. And Zipnix finds MSL. No, he doesn't. MSL is able to respond. He was cut off from his team. Great advantage here for North, and Conflict's going to add one more. They're not done yet.
It's about time. MSL very quick with the reaction there. He could have easily gone down. A bit of a kill coming in on his teammate. That's 2 for 1 for Valder, but he'll take it, even if it does leave them 2 on 3 here. Glaive and Kjaerbye. The bomb is still up by that train, so eventually they have to sort of stop by there.
This is such a sick play, though. This is Kjaerbye. I mean, he's taking a lot of risks just basically sprinting through this inner bomb site because he knows everyone's rotated away, especially because they have the bomb down. It's unlikely that anyone's going to be here. It's just Cajun and Connector. You can see him there watching the flank from the inner bomb site. But Kjaerbye, with all this time wrapping around, it will come down to luck. Is AZ still going to keep watching this angle when Kjaerbye turns the corner? Is he going to be able to spot Valdi when he crosses over?
Cajun is right there as well. They miss each other by just a second. He was just looking that way. Now, this might actually be the big opening, and Glaive is ready on the other side. Glaive to set it up, but there's the spray. Cajun is down. The spray continues. Kjaerbye taking down Valder, and just like that, 2 on 1, and AC, his hands have got to be shaking right now. 25 seconds. Looking all over the place. He's very exposed out in the open. Goes for the spray, but Glaive with a headshot instead. It's Astralis of 15 rounds. The comeback has almost been completed. Unbelievable scenes here at day 2 of the major.
This has been such a disgusting T-side from Astralis. How are they able to come back with this? Such a brilliant decision by Kjaerbye to make the flank all the way through the inner bomb site. They had nothing. If he had stuck around, they didn't think they'd be able to find anything. And Glaive here with the shoulder peek, the one tap right here at the end. Right to the head of AZ and Sonic again. Just more scenes.
He is just loving it. I hope you guys can hear him through our microphones in the studio, because it's absolutely worth it. He's put his heart and soul and very much of his life into this game. You can understand why he'd be excited. 29th round, ladies and gentlemen, from 11-4 into 15-13. This is very intense. If you lose this game, you're on the edge of being knocked out of the tournament, and for both these teams, that would be a slight catastrophe.
Yeah, but you've got to feel for North. What a lead they had at one point and not able to get anything going on this team. First point of contact is able to find one. Again, so does Config. Can Astralis do it one more time? Can they come back from a massive deficit? NSL making a play, but Kjaerbye shuts that down. He only had 4 HP, and he's gained a massive amount of ground.
They still have a really good situation here north. Those the spray is in, but Config misses. I don't even know how. Device takes him down, and now it's a 3-on-3 north. They had the lead. Those defensive flashbangs were brilliant. Nobody from Astralis could see anything. That's why they got those 2 opening kills. Now, locking it down. Astralis doing to North what North were doing to them earlier. This is the pause.
And it's quiet all across the map, so tense in these situations. And it's Dupree making the first move. He's got the most HP of his team. He's on the bomb train, but does not have the bomb, searching for any indication of where they are. And he almost lands that shot. Peeks out towards Old Bomb. There's 15 seconds left when this bomb gets planted, and Valdi is on a huge flank.
Yes, he is, and this had better pay off. He's going to go for the spray, takes down one, and now it's trouble for Astralis. Great shot from Kjaerbye Dupree to follow it up, and just like that, again, 1 versus 2. He sees the gun barrel, hits the headshot. One more kill, it's all he needs, and Kjaerbye's low. Anything right now, out in the open, and he gets the kill, extending the series just a bit further. No kit, but he's going to have to defuse either way. It's only fitting, Moses, that we get to take this all the way home. 15-14 and a 30th round coming up.
Oh my lord, I cannot believe they pulled it off. Great clutch from AZ at the end. He's going to get the off, but they did lose 4 players. They don't have a lot of money built up, so it's still going to be a very scrappy buy. And on the other hand, Astralis is flush. They have everything they could possibly want. Narrowly avoiding another collapse. Back-to-back collapses would have been so heartbreaking for North. And a tactical timeout. You can understand why it's called here at the end.
Absolutely. Now is where you want to sort of get some of the adrenaline out of the system and just make sure you're really clear-minded going into this one, because losing this now would be heartbreaking for North, obviously. It does get very interesting if they could extend it into overtime. Then the game could change once again. Yeah,
then the economy issues go away for the CT side, but we've got to get there first. We could talk about that if we arrive.
By the way, we talked about sort of silent, silent game for Device, still with a lot of kills. And Kiebi's up to 25. He snuck up and is now on par with Dupree. So just 50 kills between those two players. Time, I think, for Config and Cajun to have just one good round here.
That's all you need. 15-14. Utility missing on Cajun, on Valdi. No, or one kid, excuse me, on Config Dupree with the op. Config knows he was spotted. This is such a tough game to play. He'll take the chance once the op shot rings out. He gets into better cover. Wanted to get over towards that ladder room, but Dupree has denied that at the very least.
Actually, that grenade did more damage than I thought it would, so that's very effective, especially when you got two FAMASas in play. Getting someone that low down is going to be big. Sees the feet and takes down MSL back around the train, but not quite. Cajun is too quick. Taking down Dupree. That's still a 4-on-4 then. And now, are there any more shenanigans left here for North? They currently don't have anyone who's on any kind of adventure. Maybe Config here.
Well, he just knows that they need to get some kind of advantage, positional map control advantage, because they're running out of nades. They cannot just sit back and let them have control of all the choke points. So pushing forward, he only has to watch one and he's safe from ladder. And he has to do this basically because Cajun and Valdi, both of them playing at the inner bomb site. But this kind of a setup at the moment puts a lot of pressure on AZ. There's very few positions he can sit in to watch Ivy. And if Glaive and Device lead the way and apply pressure first, this could be Astralis faking out north as well. Could force the rotate out of Cajun, and then Valdi all of a sudden is all alone.
Yeah, that's the key piece. Obviously, that's what they need to do here. Cajun, all on him to stand his ground. The smoke is up. 25 seconds. He's already falling back a bit. Oh, but there's a call. He actually stands his ground. AC might be saying, no, not quite yet. 17 seconds, and now they want to make their way in. Cajun is a very well shot in the back. Valdi goes down. There's Cajun with one, turning around. He reads the game so well. Cajun taking one more kill with 7 seconds left. They're going to get the bomb plant anyway. He just did so much for his team. Now it's Glaive sneaking in, gets the headshot, and the follow-up. The comeback is real. 16-14. Astralis with an absolute godlike play here on the second half.
That is classic Astralis, and you could see them laughing